Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. Today, we're taking a look at something that affects, well, pretty much anyone who's ever stared obsessively at a flashing red or green number on a trading app. We are tackling the wild, hyperdigital chaos of modern financial frenzies. You know exactly the kind of thing I'm talking about, right? Those crazy moments when the entire internet just collectively decides to pour their life savings into some obscure digital coin or a nostalgic retail stock. It feels chaotic, it feels entirely new, and it feels completely driven by the latest tech. But what if the engine actually driving all these wild digital market swings isn't digital at all?
Okay, let's dive into this. What do crypto bubbles and monkey experiments actually have in common? I know, it sounds like the setup to a really bizarre joke. On one hand, you've got the most complex, decentralized digital financial instruments ever created, and on the other hand, primates hanging out in controlled behavioral studies. It definitely creates a bit of cognitive dissonance. But as we parse through the source material today, you're going to see that connecting these two seemingly unrelated worlds is actually the secret code to decoding our modern market behavior.
Part 1. The Savannah Herd Instinct. Tracing the roots of modern bubbles. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly what we're talking about. To really understand the frenetic energy of today's financial chaos, we actually have to look way back into our evolutionary biology. It's a super fascinating dichotomy. Over on the one side, you have modern markets. Crypto, meme stocks, Reddit threads, the whole shebang of instantaneous global trading, it all feels highly sophisticated, right? But if you strip away the smartphones and those glossy user interfaces, you are left with pure primal instincts, the Savannah herd. The core hypothesis from our source material suggests that the behavioral drivers of modern finance are basically entirely governed by this ancient programming. We're literally mapping modern financial events straight onto our most primitive urges.
Let's define exactly what we mean here. The Savannah herd instinct is that primal evolutionary drive to just follow the group. Think about it from a raw survival perspective back on the ancient savannah. If the rest of your herd suddenly starts sprinting in one direction, you don't stand around running a fundamental analysis on why they're running. You run with them, because their safety in numbers and hesitation meant you might just become a predator's lunch. Today, the source hypothesizes that this single primal instinct operates as the invisible engine driving these totally unexplainable surges in retail investing. When we see a meme stock rocketing up or a crypto bubble inflating, our brains aren't actually doing complex financial modeling. Nope, our inner Savannah herd instinct is just screaming, the group is moving, whatever you do, don't get left behind.
Moving on to Part 2, Clues from Primate Research, Looking to the Apes for Answers.
Now, what's really interesting about this research is exactly how it breaks down. If we are indeed being driven by this ancient herd instinct, how do we actually prove it? Well, the research points us to two absolutely crucial investigative pillars. First up is the famous Yale token study. This experiment showed that when monkeys are taught to use a currency, like essentially given money, they immediately adopt human-like financial behaviors. I'm talking irrational gambling and extreme risk aversion when facing a perceived loss. Then you have Franz de Waal's extensive research, which highlights our deep-seated primate urge for mimicry and fairness. Listen to this. Monkeys will literally reject a perfectly good piece of food if they see their neighbor getting a better one. No way, right? But these aren't just random scientific footnotes. The source material identifies these specific areas of primate research as the exact clues we need to investigate. By observing how our primate cousins handle concepts of value, group dynamics, and mimicry, we completely unlock the foundational logic of our own chaotic financial markets.
Which brings us to Part 3, Mapping the Behavioral Script Anatomy of a Hypothesis.
The ultimate goal of analyzing all this primate research, as drawn directly from our source text, is to, quote, map out a highly detailed scene-by-scene script outline. Just think about the power of that phrase for a second. A scene-by-scene script. This means that a financial frenzy isn't just a random blur of numbers on a screen, it's a play with a very specific, predictable narrative arc. By connecting this monkey research to modern trading behavior, we can chart the precise progression of a bubble. Act 1. The initial trigger. It's exactly like a primate noticing a brand new food source. Act 2. The herd recognizes the movement, and that triggers that deeply ingrained monkey-see-monkey-do mimicry. And then, Act 3. The primal panic of missing out overrides absolutely all logic. We buy into bubbles because, biologically, we are just following a script that was written thousands and thousands of years ago out on the savannah.
So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with this final, really provocative thought. The next time you open a trading app and you feel that sudden, heart-pounding urge to just buy into a surging meme stock or the latest crypto token simply because everyone else is doing it, stop and ask yourself this. Are we truly the rational, calculating digital investors we like to pretend we are? Or are we, at our core, just a Savannah herd armed with smartphones running blindly with the pack? It completely reframes how we look at the financial world, doesn't it? Thank you so much for joining me to explore this wild intersection of biology and finance. Keep questioning the herd, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.